Many of us set these big, ambitious goals, but then somehow we hit these walls, right? These unexpected roadblocks.
Absolutely. It happens all the time.
And have you ever wondered why some people seem to just blast through obstacles, achieving these extraordinary things, while, well, so many others just feel stuck?
Yeah, it's a really common feeling.
I mean, you look at someone like Elon Musk literally building rockets to Mars. And then, a lot of us are just trying to get through the week feeling held back by
Yeah.
something. We can't quite put our finger on it.
It is a compelling question, isn't it? That huge difference in what people achieve. It makes you wonder, what's the real secret sauce? What's the differentiator?
Exactly. And that's precisely why today we're doing a deep dive into a book that really tries to unlock that secret. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Ah, the classic.
It really is. And
Uh,
this isn't just some random self-help book. It's famous, genuinely renowned for inspiring more successful people, more millionaires apparently, than almost any other.
And the backstory is fascinating. Hill spent, what, decades?
Yeah, years and years studying over 500
Mm.
incredibly successful individuals. We're talking luminaries like Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, John D. Rockefeller.
The titans of that era. He was really looking for patterns, wasn't he? Not just observing them. He wanted those fundamental principles that worked no matter the industry or background.
That's it. He called it a code of wealth.
So our mission today really is to unpack those insights. We want to help you understand how these, well, seemingly simple thought patterns can actually be consciously rewired.
And how these principles have, historically anyway, led to some pretty extraordinary success stories.
Consider this your shortcut, maybe, to getting really well informed on one of the most influential books ever written on personal achievement.
Okay, let's dive in. The core idea, the central assertion from Hill, it's direct, maybe even blunt, but probably true. Your bank account grows only as fast as your mindset.
And that's where the real problem often lies, right? Most people are running on these deeply ingrained, self-limiting beliefs.
Like what? What kind of things?
Oh, the classics, telling yourself, oh, I'm not smart enough for that. Or maybe you try something once, it fails, and immediately it's, this is too hard, and then you just quit.
Right. We're blaming external factors.
Exactly. The old rich people are just lucky line,
Yeah.
which basically just takes away all your own power, your own agency.
And these thoughts, they're not just passing fancies, are they? They dig in.
They become behaviors. They dictate your actions, your outcomes, without you even realizing it sometimes. It's like an internal programming.
It sounds like these beliefs act like an internal brake system. You mentioned programming.
Yeah.
From your perspective, what's maybe the most common self-limiting belief you see really holding people back? And why is it so sneaky, so insidious?
That internal brake is a perfect analogy. The most insidious, maybe just the fundamental belief, I'm not capable, or I can't do this.
Oh, that one.
Because it just cuts you off at the knees,
Yeah.
It undermines the very foundation you need to even try, let alone persist. If you genuinely don't believe you're capable, well, why would you even start?
Makes sense.
And the book, thankfully, doesn't just state the problem. It gives these amazing real-life examples to show the opposite is possible.
Oh, yeah. Like Colonel Sanders. Just think about that story for a second.
Incredible.
The guy was broke. 65 years old, living on, what, like $99 from Social Security?
Yeah. By all reasonable standards, his productive life was over. He seemed totally out of options.
But he believed in his chicken recipe with this absolute unwavering conviction.
And that's the key takeaway from his story, isn't it? It's not just the belief itself, but the action it fueled, the sheer persistence.
He pitched that recipe. How many times was it?
An astonishing 1,009 times. 1,009 rejections before KFC was born.
Wow.
And the book is pretty clear. His success wasn't random. It came from him consciously applying these principles Hill talks about. This isn't just about, wishing on a star.
No, it's presented as a concrete system.
Yeah.
A way to rewire your thinking, your approach,
Yeah.
and get your actions lined up with your goal.
Exactly. So should we get into some of those core principles?
Let's do it. First one up. Desire. Hill frames this as burn the ships.
Such a powerful analogy. It comes from those stories of Spanish conquistadors, right? They land on new shores, and the commander orders them to literally burn their own boats.
No going back.
No retreat, no plan B. The only way is forward conquer or perish. For Hill, this translates to cultivating this incredibly intense, unwavering desire for your goal. You have to eliminate all the mental escape routes.
So it's more than just wanting something.
Oh, much more. It's about feeling that goal as if it's already real. engaging all your senses, not just thinking about it. You have to infuse that desire deep into your being.
So it's not just a vague wish like, oh, I'd like more money. How does Hill suggest we make that desire concrete, specific enough to actually work with?
Well, he's very practical about it. He stresses writing your goal down, but not just writing it as if it's already achieved, and be precise.
Give me an example.
Like, instead of, I want to earn more, write something like, I will earn $100,000 by December 31st, 2024. See the difference?
Yeah, it's definitely, it shifts it from just a wish to more like a firm decision, a decree.
Exactly. And that foundational desire naturally leads into the second principle, faith. Or, as the source rather provocatively puts it, brainwash yourself.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that title definitely grabs your attention.
It's a strong term for sure. But Hill isn't talking about negative mind control. He means a deliberate, consistent effort to build unwavering belief in your ability to achieve your goals.
So connecting it back, it's about conditioning your subconscious mind.
Yeah.
Getting it to accept your goal as inevitable.
Precisely. Making it a reality in your mind first.
Like Oprah Winfrey. I remember reading, she famously visualized her talk show success for years, long before it happened. She literally saw it, felt it, lived it internally.
A perfect example. And the book suggests a very direct practice for this. Actually saying things like, I am rich, or I am successful daily. Repeating it until your subconscious genuinely starts to believe it.
That sounds, I don't know, almost too simple to actually work, doesn't it?
It sounds simple, maybe, but think about how consistently negative self-talk works. This is just flipping the script. It's about reshaping that internal narrative deliberately.
Okay, I see the connection.
And this ties right into the third principle, autosuggestion. The source calls it the 10-minute miracle. It's really about elaborating on that power of repetition to impress thoughts onto the subconscious.
This is the one where he suggests writing your goal down 50 times a day.
That's the one.
50 times. Like
Whoa.
physically writing, I am a magnet for money or whatever your goal is, 50 times every single day. That sounds like, well, a serious commitment.
It is a serious commitment, but that commitment, that intense focus is part of why Hill calls it a miracle. It's not just busy work.
What's it actually doing then?
It's about hammering that thought into your subconscious so deeply that it starts to automatically influence your choices, your perceptions, your actions, often without you even consciously thinking about it. It's like carving new pathways in your brain, neural pathways for success.
There's that famous story about Jim Carrey, right? Didn't he write himself a check?
He did. Wrote himself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered, dated it years in the future, and carried it in his wallet, years before he actually earned that kind of money.
Wow. Making the abstract tangible.
And repeating it, keeping it top of mind. It's a powerful illustration of autosuggestion in action.
Okay, so we've got desire, faith, autosuggestion.
Mm-hmm.
These are very mind-focused. Let's shift gears a bit to something more practical. Specialized knowledge.
Right. This is crucial. It's about actively acquiring the specific knowledge and skills you need for your particular goal, not just general knowledge.
The material makes a great point here. Skills diplomas.
Exactly. Think about Mark Zuckerberg. He didn't wait to finish his Harvard degree. He saw the opportunity for Facebook and just went out and built it. Possessing the skill was more important than the formal qualification at that point.
It's about practical application then. What you can do with what you know.
Precisely. Rather than just accumulating facts or degrees for their own sake.
Okay. Then we move into imagination. Hill calls this one the billion-dollar muscle.
I love that phrase. This principle highlights the creative power of your mind. Your ability to conceive something totally new or to look at an old problem in a completely different way.
The source uses Sarah Blakely, the Spanx founder, as an example here.
Yeah, she apparently imagined what her product would look like, how it would feel, visualized feet and her pantyhose prototype for years. That persistent mental image, like belief in something that didn't exist yet.
Led to her becoming a billionaire.
Yeah.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? It raises a question for you, the listener. What's your crazy idea?
Mm-hmm.
What's something you've imagined but maybe dismissed because it seemed too out there, too outlandish?
Hill would argue you shouldn't dismiss those ideas too quickly. That imaginative spark, that billion-dollar muscle, is often where real innovation starts.
Good point. Okay, the next few principles seem very action-oriented. Decision. Hill frames this one bluntly. Kill maybe.
Yes, very direct. It's simply about making swift, firm choices, getting rid of indecision.
No wavering, no endless debating with yourself.
Exactly. Kill maybe. Hill observed that highly successful people tend to make decisions quickly and firmly, and they change them slowly, if at all. They understand that indecision itself is a major roadblock, a major cause of failure.
So commit fully and move forward with conviction. Avoid that analysis paralysis.
That's the idea.
And that leads naturally to persistence, which brings us right back to Colonel Sanders.
And his 1009 no's is one case first.
It's such a powerful reminder, isn't it? Setbacks aren't the end of the story. They're just steps.
Absolutely. The source really hammers this home. Persistent effort, especially when you're facing rejection, obstacles, tough times, that's often the ultimate differentiator. It separates those who eventually achieve from those who simply quit along the way.
Makes sense. And the final principle we'll cover is mastermind groups. The book describes this as creating a kind of collective brain.
Yeah, for problem solving, bouncing ideas around, getting support. It's a really powerful concept.
The source even calls it Elon Musk's secret weapon. Is that right?
That's what it says. The idea is to strategically surround yourself with smart, supportive people who can, lift you up, challenge your assumptions, offer different perspectives, bring different expertise to the table.
Leveraging collective intelligence.
Exactly, to overcome your own individual limitations or blind spots.
Okay, so we've covered these 8 principles: desire, faith, autosuggestion, specialized knowledge, imagination, decision, persistence, and mastermind groups. What does this all mean for us, practically? This isn't just theory, right? There's real-life proof.
Oh, absolutely. The book is full of examples, and you see it playing out all the time. Think about Steve Jobs.
That's right. Famously fired from Apple, the company he co-founded.
Could have been the end of his story. But his vision, his belief, it was unwavering. It brought him back to Apple, and he turned it into, well, a trillion-dollar behemoth.
Incredible turnaround.
Or think about someone like Katy Perry. The stories say she slept in her car for years, struggling.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, but she had this profound belief in her music, and she kept pushing, kept persisting, and eventually, boom, superstardom. These aren't just random flukes or pure luck.
Right, and the source is quite insistent on this point. This isn't magic. It leans into the idea that it's almost science. It mentions neuroplasticity.
Yes, and that's such a key concept to grasp. Neuroplasticity, the idea that our brains aren't fixed. Our thoughts, our focus can literally rewire our brain.
How does that work in this context?
Well, when you consistently focus on a goal, like through desire and faith, or when you repeat affirmations through autosuggestion or visualize using your imagination, you're not just daydreaming.
You're doing something tangible in your brain.
You're actively strengthening the neural pathways associated with those thoughts and goals. You're building up the mental infrastructure, so to speak.
So those desired ways of thinking, those success-oriented mindsets, become easier to access, more automatic.
Exactly. You are literally shaping your brain to align with your intentions. It makes those beliefs feel more real, and the actions that follow feel more natural.
Wow. So if you connect that to the bigger picture, it really suggests that success isn't just about what happens to you, your external circumstances.
No, it's deeply connected to the internal architecture of your mind.
And, crucially, you have the power to reshape that architecture.
You absolutely do. That's the empowering message here.
So, okay, bringing it right back to the listener. How can you start applying these insights right now, immediately?
Well, the material actually gives some pretty clear homework. Simple, but potentially powerful.
Okay, what is it?
First, right now, or as soon as you can, take a moment. Grab a pen and paper or open a notes app. Write down your #1 goal, your most important goal right now.
Okay.
And write it 10 times.
10 times.
10 times. Seriously, do it. Hill would say this isn't just a pointless exercise. It's the first step in actively impressing that goal onto your subconscious mind, starting that rewiring process.
Okay, write the goal 10 times. What else?
Second, make it a daily habit. Every single morning when you wake up, before the day grabs hold of you, say to yourself out loud if possible, I am unstoppable.
I am unstoppable.
Just that. It's a simple affirmation, but it starts that process of deep conditioning Hill describes. You're beginning to program your mind for resilience, for success.
These are practical first steps then. Ways to begin implementing this stuff.
Exactly. Because really, at the end of the day, the core message that comes through so strongly from Think and Grow Rich is this. You don't get what you want. You get what you believe.
That really hits home. This whole deep dive, drawing from Hill's work, it just underscores the incredible, genuinely transformative power of your own mindset.
It really does. Which leads to a final thought, maybe something for you to chew on.
Okay.
If your beliefs truly fundamentally shape your reality, what is one belief you currently hold that you might need to actively unbelieve? What old belief do you need to let go of to make space for the future you actually envision?